thought it'd be a great idea to turn my 1967 Mustang Coupe into a Fastback. Because let's be honest, the Fastback is about 200 times cooler. This is my Mustang, or should I say, my rusting Mustang, because I've had to cut off basically every panel this car came with. Metalwork, bodywork, and headaches. I've seen it all, and it's taught me way more than I expected. And honestly, building this car with my dad, that's something I'll remember forever. I'm hoping one day I can pass this thing down to my son, that is, if I can actually find a wife first. But that's one problem at a time. If you've been following the build, you know I'm deep into metalwork right now, and today I've got big plans. We're finally locking this roof skin into place, and at the end of the video, I'm attempting something I definitely didn't plan for. One part of working on cars is stuff breaks, especially in an older garage, but the hose for the die grinder, which I was using to kind of get in the plug welds and remove the paint, just broke. You guys know it blew up like a baboon's butt in one of my last videos. Guys, I don't know what's causing this, but my hose is blowing up like a baboon's butt. And it finally went. Thankfully, my dad went out and got a new one, so we're gonna hook that up right now. But this one is on a reel, which is pretty cool, instead of being on the ground like you mount it to a wall. So now I gotta set that up. Inconvenience, but at least it's early on in the week. Now the best part about it is I could just get my new air hose and pull it like this. Look how nice, guys. Wow. You guys see how I have lights all back here? I need one up here because it's just dark over here and it can't be. So let's put a light up. Now that I had the essentials, it was time to get to work. We got all of this beautiful light in here right now. So now the magic happens where I'm gonna put on this roof. Now you're probably asking me why I'm putting this roof on the table. I foolishly left this outside a couple months back in the summer and it got wet overnight and it rusted all of the holes that I had for my plug welds. So I gotta clean those up. I'm so dumb for that. Actually, I'm not dumb. I'm a smart guy. It rusted all of the plug weld holes and I gotta fix that because I don't wanna weld to any rust because it could cause future problems. Right there, there. I'm gonna actually grind that all down and take that rust off because I don't want to weld to rust. I'm telling you, when you have tools that actually work and you don't gotta worry about air leaking out of the hose every second, it's so nice. The rust that I was actually grinding off here was just surfaced and flash rust, nothing major at all. But I already invested so much time into new panels on this car where I wasn't gonna let a 10-minute task go over my head. Now, the only bad thing is I gotta get a water separator for this air filter because you can just hear all the water. Okay, maybe you can't right now, but I can hear it and it's gonna rust this. Look how nice that clicks in. So the next thing I'm gonna do is put this roof skin back on the car, which if you guys don't remember, this thing is kind of heavy. So the roof skin is a singular stamped piece of steel. And it's a little awkward because it's flimsy and heavy, and I wish I had a second set of hands, but my dad's most likely at work when I film this. Regardless, we roughly got it into the place it should be. A couple of videos back, I actually spent a long time trying to get this roof square and centered because if it's not, that back glass might not fit. But this time it fought me a little more for some reason. So this is roughly in the car now, but if you remember, I actually created these lines which are supposed to line up just so I get my distance from this roof back down here. Along with those lines you see in the car, I also had self-tapper holes on the roof skin and on the quarter. So all I needed to do was get the roof skin over the previous self-tapper hole. All right, and you can kind of see it's rotting on this lip right here. So let's see if we can, there we go. There we go. That was like a chiropractor cracking a back right there. Now, it actually looks pretty lined up. I could put my self-tapper back in here if I wanted to. Broke right off. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. Damn, because it's 3 layers of metal. That's why it broke. That's okay. I'm gonna check for squareness. It's lined up, so I'm gonna clamp it down, check for squareness, and if that's good, we're gonna work on that piece and weld this in. Clamp right here to close this gap. Perfect. Oh, that's hard to do with one hand. So let's check and see if it's square. Here and here, here and here, and hopefully that window fits, because I don't want to weld this and nothing works. And as long as I used my tape measure right, this window was square in the back from corner to corner and then on both sides from edge to edge. All right, so the roof is on. It's perfect for the windshield. It'll fit in there nicely. Now we're moving on to this part. You guys remember that I sliced this, had to make it wider. So there's what it's looking like knocked down now. So you can see it's a lot flatter like pancakes. If I could go back, I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have tried to make it fit better, but I do remember struggling for hours and I couldn't get it. Anyways, slicing that piece resulted in this curve not lining up with this because we pushed this out when it's supposed to be over here and go nicely. So we got to cut this, weld it, and make it flow nicely with this curve. I could try just like clamping it and hammering it, but I don't want to do that. So let's cut here, here, and see if we can bend that down nicer. Now, it took me a long time to eventually get to this piece I'm cutting now, and the reason being is I thought it was going to be hard to cut and bend and shape this and make it match to the curve that I have. But it ended up being one of the easiest tasks. It maybe took me 5 or 6 minutes, and all I had to do was cut, bend, and shape it. You know, that actually wasn't too bad. I feel like I got it fitted pretty well in there. And bodywork and Bondo will take care of the rest and match in that curve, because you have to put it here anyways because the metal's indented so it could seat properly. But hey, messing up and making mistakes like this is what is gonna further enhance my knowledge for the next build. So me making this mistake will make my next car better. I think of working on a car just like sports. Like I box and I play soccer, and if you don't spar in boxing, you don't get better. If you don't train in soccer, you don't get better. If you don't make mistakes working on cars, you don't get better. In boxing, I had to get beat up in sparring so much by pro boxers, getting my face pounded in every single time I stepped in the ring. Because when that final match comes, you can be ready. You learn from your mistakes, you're ready to fight. Actually, let me show you a video of my first fight ever. So yeah, that wouldn't happen without all the training and all the mistakes, and that's why I gotta get beat up and learn working on this car. I hope by now you guys can kind of see the reoccurring theme of this build. I want to be nothing but upfront and honest to you guys about all my mistakes. I don't want to hide it like it's some TV show, because mistakes are part of the process and they're only gonna make you better in the future. Now with the roof fully lined up and square, I can crawl through the back and actually start prepping the plug weld holes. They have a little paint in them, so I'm using my die grinder to remove the paint so I can weld metal on metal. Once the paint is fully removed, I get my air gun and blow out all the debris so nothing can be corrupted. First weld for the roof skin, one of the biggest parts of the car. It makes the car the car. I'm excited to do this. Hopefully it's somewhat in the right place, but I guess we'll find out a little later on. I thought it was best to start the welds in the center of the roof skin, and this is so it lays nice and flat and no warping happens, and I can work my way down to the outside. And this process didn't take long. I always say it every video, it's not the welding that takes a long time, it's the prep work. So I finished off the welds going corner to corner, and then finally brought out my hammer so I could pound the metal in a little closer to where it was supposed to be. The roof is halfway on, and it's not coming off because that is fully spot welded along this ridge here. And now I'm gonna come along this side and do right here and kind of work my way down, and I'm getting tired. This next area is where the quarter panel welds to the roof skin, and there's a little indent that originally was filled with lead. I need your guys' advice because I don't know if I should put lead back, Bondo, or put a metal patch. I just want something reliable that will last a long time. Alright guys, so now the roof skin is welded all along here, and the next part I'm gonna do is down this drip rail edge. You can see I already got my holes drilled out for it. We're making real progress today. A lot of the times when I'm working on my car, I'm listening to music, so that's why I don't talk a lot in the actual video. But one of the songs I'm listening to right now is Save Me by Jelly Roll. I can't play it, but go listen to that song. Such a good song. So let's keep working. Now this next part that I'm welding right here is called the drip rail, also the rain guard. It basically keeps rain from coming in when you open the window, and it just plug welds to the quarter panel with some pre-drilled holes that I did a while back. Once we were done with that, I moved on to the other side, and I began to plug weld that same area, which I need your guys' advice on, by the way. Don't forget to leave a comment. And then I did the same area on the drip rail. So we fully finished this side right here, finished this roof skin to quarter panel. We got it all the way on top, and we got this side and right here. Now the next part, just thinking progressively, I want to work my way from the back to the front. So now I'm gonna do these edges right here. Now, this is one of those oh well moments right now that I cannot do anything about. And honestly, I don't care because I can't do anything about it, and I'll just show you what I'm talking about. I remember the drip rail gaps being kind of big, but I don't remember them being about 11/16 big. And for reference, this is my finger, and that gap, you guys tell me, but that looks pretty big. And I know there's gonna be a stainless steel piece going over it, but I think I messed up because I didn't get the roof to come over enough to close that gap, but it looks perfect over here. See, it's a lot tighter over here. Now, I say it's an an oh well moment because this roof is already welded in, and I did something unnormal. I kind of welded it along this seam here, and I'm gonna get the stainless steel piece and test fit it and make sure it's okay. But I did that because usually you seam seal there, but I wanted to make it all locked in, and I'm gonna clean that off, paint it, and then it'll be seam sealed again one day. But mistakes happen, and I'm not gonna be mad at this. At the end of the day, it's still gonna be a car that I basically built from scratch, and I'll learn for the next car I do. But this is something I'm just gonna laugh off, and that's something I'm learning to do in this car, is just laugh certain stuff off. It's gonna come out great. I'm happy. I'm content. You can't make everything perfect, so you can kind of see that gap is big, right? Or am I just wrong? I don't have a car for a reference. Actually guys, while I'm editing this video, Flint from Mr. Gone in 60 reached out to me and showed me a correct way to actually do that drip rail gap so it would never happen again. And I do want to correct it, and I'm thinking about it, but it would involve removing all the welds I put in there, so I really have to think about it. Okay, see this part right here? It's a little bubbled up, and I can't get it flat. If I do, it's just gonna keep moving the bubbles to either side. So I'm actually just gonna make a relief cut right here, pound it over, fold it, and then it'll be nice and smooth. Now, I know what I'm about to say sounds dumb, but when I first got my hammer and dolly set, I thought you could just tap metal to make it go down flat. But what I quickly learned is that when you tap metal down flat, it tends to pop up in another area. So you have to make a relief cut in certain instances, and that's what I did on both sides here, and it allowed that roof skin to lay so nicely in the corners that it will eventually fill with either lead or Bondo. Now, I could be just speaking for myself, but I got super sick of working on this back end. I just feel like there's a lot to weld and a lot to get right. So I moved to the roof skin and I completed that. The roof is fully on. All I have to do is grind down the welds. Now, one thing that I didn't tell you guys that I was actually gonna do is door skins. You see, these are the original skins, the original doors, and there's a rust patch right here on both sides. You guys can see that. I definitely could fix that rust patch, cut in some new metal, and make it look flawless. But I want to reskin the door because there's just so many dents and dings in it, and there's rust in the crevice where it clamps on to the actual other side of the sheet metal, and you can't get that. So I'm gonna reskin the door, because if I'm putting a paint job on this, guys, then I want it to last a little bit longer than 3 or 4 years before I start to see rust again. There's not many videos on skinning doors, and I feel like it's very self-explanatory, but hopefully I can get everything to line up. So let's start that process. That's right, so I'm gonna get these door skins. It's really early, so I'm sorry, but it's $213 for the set, and I think that will benefit me because I don't gotta do a patch panel and make it look ugly and have the chance of it rusting out, and I'd be comfortable with brand new door skins, and I'm willing to do that. Alright guys, I just got home from school, and I'm very happy to see this on the porch, because this could only be one thing, well, two. I think it's scaring me that the box is damaged a little bit. Probably not the best sign. Not looking forward to that, but these are the door skins for the car, so let's open them. Like I said, those boxes did not look good, and I just opened it up, and I did find a little bit of damage, but I don't know if it's gonna be anything to cause a problem. So right here on this corner, in a prevalent spot that you're gonna see, because this is where you always touch, it's dented. You guys see that, how the light's reflecting? He's inspecting. What do you think? Oh, it's good. It's a good door. Right here, we got the driver's side door. You can see my dad and I welded this piece to it too, which makes even more of a reason to replace it because it's just warping the metal. And you can see the rust. We put this on here so it would hold the door even when we were trying to line it up. But you can see the rust here. I mean, it's all chippy all the way around. And then another thing, this part we're gonna have to fix on our own by welding a piece in here. It's dented here from something that got caught in the jam. Not sure what. I'm gonna have to get new door hinges because these ones are broke. They lost all the springs. But these aren't the original door hinges. You guys tell me what you know about hinges, but look how thick these are. I mean, that's a thick plate right there. That's probably, I don't know.
Well, there's a number on it.
7/16. We're gonna have to sandblast this maybe, or wire wheel it to get all the rust off, but we're gonna have a lot more access once we take everything off. But the best way to take it off, I'm thinking, is either you only can take it off by grinding or removing the welds. Piece we're not replacing, I bet it's gonna be super rusty too, from water sitting in here. I think I knew that once I saw the rust on these doors when I got the car, I wanted to replace the skins from the start. But my dad didn't feel the same way. Although it's not on camera, he thought I should just make the patch. But as we began to cut this open a little bit, he said something that made me laugh so hard.
So this is why we should be skinning it.
Oh, mister, we shouldn't skin the door. All of a sudden wants to skin the door.
Because no matter how much you grind and prime this edge,
it'll always be rusty underneath.
It'll always be rusty.
Look at that. That's crazy, huh?
I mean, part of you wants to keep the car as original as possible, but you can't put all this time, money, and effort in and have it rust out. Surface rust, and you'd be sick.
And my dad is spot on there. It would make me sick because if one day it's Sunday, 5 years down the line, I got my kid, we're going to a car show, I open the door and I see a speck of rust sitting there, I'm gonna be sick because we as car enthusiasts put a lot of time, a lot of money into our cars, and if it's just gonna rust out, it would make us mad. Guys, all this rust coming out is absolutely insane. I guess my dad and I didn't know what to exactly expect, but we did know there was gonna be some rust. But when we finally cut the last piece of metal holding this door skin on, it was kind of actually unbelievable. Now, I don't know if this is considered good or bad for 58 years of rust, but you tell me. Wow. Guys, we got
Predicament.
we got secondhand door skins if anyone wants them, roughly used. I'll sell them for you for $50. All right, there is the door. Woo! Holy rust.
Mamma mia.
Look at this, guys. Look at that rust. I'm gonna sandblast and epoxy prime it. Wow.
Even bracket.
Yeah. Now, if you can't tell by our reactions, we thought this was pretty rusty, which was both good and bad. Good because, well, we're dealing with it. It's not gonna be there in the future because we're gonna take care of it. And it was bad because, well, we got a lot of work to do. So we quickly got into the next side and there was even more. Woo! Surprise! Removing the door skin itself wasn't actually hard. It's probably one of the easiest pieces of metal to remove on this car, like when I think about everything. But underneath this is a lot of rust that we have to, I'm thinking sandblast, treat with OSPO, and then epoxy primer, and then put the new door skin on. But we're gonna get new hinges too because the old hinges are completely messed up, and if we're gonna fit the door with the new door skins, I wanna have the right hinges. Well guys, rainy night, that's gonna end it. Door skins in the garbage, 67 Mustang getting worked on. I appreciate you guys, sorry for a shorter video, but we're making real progress. Christmas Mustang shirts, I'm dropping now. If you guys wanna support, check them out, I really appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.